更漂亮。Belakana Taragay kung kiring kanina Kiring hanap desyo Taragay kung 漂亮 Piu hana Taragay kung kiring kokoro Kiring kokoro desyo Honto no koto yo Uy, Taragay.
Loka Shimu Guara, and welcome to In Taiwan We Speak, your audio guide to Taiwan's mind-blowing linguistic diversity. I am Alexander Shin, and today in Taiwan we speak Atayal, also known as Taiyan or Atayal. It's spoken by the Atayal indigenous people, whose homelands span the mountainous areas of central and northern Taiwan. It's estimated that around 90,000 Taiwanese people are of Atayal background, making them the third largest indigenous group in Taiwan. In the first season of our show, Atayal scholar and activist Dr. Washak Shilan joined us here and gave us a wonderful introduction into the Atayal language and its speaking community. So please do revisit that episode whenever you have a chance, dear listeners. Today, I am happy to be joined by Eri Liao, an Atayal-Japanese singer who's here to share with us her Atayal-Japanese story and, of course, her music, as rich as the experiences she's lived through. Hi, Eri. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know you're leaving Taipei quite soon, so I'm glad I caught you.
So glad I made it here.
Wonderful, mesmerizing tune in the beginning of this episode. It's called Taragay, right?
Taragay 漂亮.
Taragay 漂亮 is your original song.
Yeah, this is
right?
my original song. And the title is in both Mandarin Chinese, but it has to be very heavily accented, like Taial accent.
So instead of 漂亮, we say...
Yeah, instead of 漂亮, it's 漂亮.
漂亮 with a Taial accent.
漂亮. Yeah, that's how people say it in the village. Yeah. So to emphasize something, we said taragay. Or just when we say wow, we can also say taragay. That's like wow. And so taragay 漂亮 meaning very beautiful.
Very beautiful. Please do tell us, why did you decide to bring this tune and why are we opening our conversation with Taragay 漂亮?
Actually, first I was thinking maybe I should sing some traditional Atayal song, Taiyan. But then I was thinking, this is a show about languages. And it's like you just said, in Taiwan, it's a really small island, but we have so many different languages spoken here. So I was like, maybe I can bring this song, which is written in Japanese, Mandarin with a very heavy accent. In this song, I have 3 different languages.
I thought I heard Japanese in there.
You can hear it? Yeah. This is all from my grandma. The song is about my grandmother. I would say like 90% of the lyrics here is my grandma's favorite phrase that what she always said when she was with us. It's really in Japanese and Mandarin and Taiyan. So it's just my natural way to bring this song to this program because I think it fits it here.
It does indeed. It's so diverse. It's a wonderful introduction into your story, I think. It's 3 languages that have come together. I believe there's more, English included, but these 3 languages are, of course, what we will be talking about on the show today. Also a wonderful tribute to your grandma.
Thank you.
All the phrases that she's used in her language. Now, before we dive into your music, we did introduce you as Atayal-Japanese singer, right? What does it mean to be so uniquely Atayal-Japanese in this vast and endlessly diverse world? Please tell us your story.
Yeah, first of all, I really resonate with the way you describe this world. It's vast and endlessly diverse, and it can never get smaller. It will just get more diverse and diverse. So in my case, my mother is Dayan and my father was Japanese. He passed away, but so it's. I mean, there are Atayal-Japanese. We do exist in the world, but it's kind of rare combination, but it's not that rare actually in our village.
Right.
So many, so many indigenous people, they got married with Japanese, especially female indigenous people married to Japanese men. I spent most of my time in Japan, and in Japan, well, most people know Taiwan, but there was a time, but I'm sure like many guests here have told you people misunderstood as Thailand, and that did happen in Japan. But now people know Taiwan. But even those who told me, "Oh, I love Taiwan. I've been there so many times," they know nothing about the indigenous. It's the contrast of being so unknown, unfamiliar, and rare. I mean, we're not an animal, but like a rare. And Japan, on contrast, it's most people in the world, they've heard of Japan. So when I go to say New York, and when I tell them I'm half indigenous Taiwanese and Japanese, they're like, "Oh, you're from Japan," and then they talk about Japan.
They recognize it
right
immediately.
And when I talk about, but I feel more closer to my mom's side. So I always want to talk more about my indigenous side, but they're like, "Wow, that's amazing." Silence. They just don't know how to respond. And I've felt this huge contrast all the time. Sometimes, when I'm feeling good, I take it as something positive. But sometimes when I'm not in a great mood, I just don't feel confident enough, or feel like people don't understand me. But then it's so diverse. In every single person, there's a huge contrast. It can be like indigenous and mainstream, or any kind of contrast, and that can be some struggle, but at the same time I think that can make us grow. And when I think about this contrast inside me, I always think about some other people who struggle with their own contrasts, and that somehow make me feel encouraged in a way. Empowered, yeah. Exactly. So yeah, that's how I've being half indigenous, half Atayal and Japanese. I think that's how I've seen that in myself.
It's so interesting you say that even in Japan people don't know much about indigenous people in Taiwan. I mean, I understand in the States people not knowing much generally, but in Japan, especially given Japan's history in Taiwan, and especially with Atayal people, right? I mean, we still know there are communities in Ilan County where people mix Atayal with Japanese.
I have to agree with that, but I also, being raised in Japan for a long time, I know Japan sometimes can be very monocultural. It's conservative. It can be a little bit, I don't want to say ignorant, but maybe ignorant is the word. So most people, I figured, they don't even know this history that Japan used to colonize Taiwan. They say people are so friendly in Taiwan. Gives me mixed feelings sometimes. I'm happy they had a great time in Taiwan, but at the same time I feel like if their happy days in Taiwan made them feel like they want to know more about Taiwan, that'll be great.
Right. So yeah, generally when people come to you and they say, "Where are you from?" Not necessarily the racist one saying, "Oh, you look foreign, where are you from?" But if you feel like you just need to give a very simple, short answer to get out of the conversation, what would you say to that question?
I would say I'm from Taiwan.
At the end of the day, you would say Taiwan.
I would say I'm from Taiwan. If the conversation should be really short, I would just say I'm from Taiwan. If they are getting more interested, I can tell them my father was Japanese, and then I can tell them more. But it's really complicated. Even like Taiwan itself is so complicated.
Exactly.
And so usually I just make it simple. I'm from Taiwan and I happen to be able to speak Japanese so well. I think that's what I always say.
We are actually a program about languages, although most of the time, let's be honest, we don't talk about languages. Could you guide us through your personal, relationship with this language, what it's been throughout your life, and what place Mandarin and Japanese also had, in this combo?
Wow. Well, actually, I'm so happy that you asked me this question. And I just realized this could be the first time for me to really talk about my relationship with Taiwan.
Really?
Yeah, because in Japan, even though I sing in Taiwan a lot in Japan, people really don't ask me this question. So thank you for asking this. And I was born here in Taiwan. And when I was here with my family, my parents weren't married yet. So basically, I was raised by my mother's side of the family. And that means they're all Taiwan. So my mom and my grandma, she stayed with us a lot. And we have so many aunties. It's a huge family with so many relatives. And they all speak Taiwan. So I was in the environment that everybody, all the grown-ups, they speak. The main language they speak was Taiwan back in Elan. And yeah, I just realized since I started working here, I realized, wow, I don't think I've ever been with Han Chinese people. Because to me, before I had any kind of jobs here, I've only been with my family here, meaning I've only been with Taiwan. And if they're not Taiwan, they can be indigenous people from different tribes. So I was like, wow, I've never been surrounded with so many Chinese people who doesn't speak a single word of Taiwan. Then I realized, well, I was really, even though my Taiwan is not really fluent, that was the language I grew up listening. But then the funny thing is I was born in 1979, meaning Taiwan was still under martial law. So we kind of had to speak Mandarin. So my mom made sure that I learn Mandarin very well. She talked to me more in Chinese. She talked to other people like aunties, grandma, grandpa in Taiwan, but to me, she spoke Mandarin. And my grandma, that's another funny story here because she grew up during the Japanese colonization era. So her language was Taiwan and Japanese. And because she was a midwife and nurse during that time, she used a lot of Japanese and she worked with Japanese doctors. So it was kind of good memory for her. That was like one of the highlights of her life, being an independent woman at that time with a job, So she really liked to talk to me in Japanese.
Right. And
she learned all these kid songs in the elementary school back in the days because that was, the assimilation. That's what the colonization did. So she now remembered all these songs she used to love as a kid in Japanese, and now she had this chance to have this Japanese child in the family for the first time, and she was a Japanese Taiwan, during the days. So she talked to me. She taught a lot of kids songs in Japanese and talked to me in Japanese all the time, and so it was really funny. In my family, my mom talked to me in Mandarin. My grandma talked to me in Japanese, but people talked to each other in Taiwan, and we were in Taiwan. So yeah.
It's wonderful how after decades after Japanese colonization ended, your family still met Japan. Your mom met your dad.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, it's it's not always a happy thing. I don't think colonization should exist anywhere in the world, but that's part of the history, and It's just there, and it stays and it lingers. So I think my mom met my father, who was Japanese. It's not during the colonization days, but it had some, lingering of the colonization.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting, and it's happening in the family, in this small family too.
Your grandma and your parents passed these 3 languages to you, right?
Yes.
And then you wove them into your art, your music, and we will talk a bit later about this. I think it's wonderful how you do that. It's extremely beautiful. The tune that you presented at the beginning, I think, is testament to the multilingual art that you bring on our show today. Before we end this part of our conversation, what's one word or phrase in Atayal that you would like to teach our audience today that you think everyone who has anything to do with Taiwan should know?
Oh, okay. That's a very interesting question. I think I would still use the word just sang. Taragay. Yeah, that's like, wow. Whoa. Like, you can just say, like, when you are amazed at something, you can say Taragay. And it can be, if you want to emphasize the feeling, you can go Taragay. Like, Taragay.
Just to make clear, is that word in the title of the song? Taragay,
Taragay,
meaning very?
Very.
Also, you use it as an exclamation?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Taragay.
Taragay. Okay. Yeah.
To express surprise.
Yes, and your pronunciation is so good.
Taragay. In Ukrainian, we have the r sound.
Oh, really?
It's very popular to the extent the actual g sound is not used as much. For example, Lady Gaga is Lady Haha in Ukrainian.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, Taragay, thank you, Eri, for being with us today. With that, we've reached the end of our airtime for today, but dear listeners, do join us next week as we continue our conversation with our guest. Thank you, Eri.
Thank you, Oleg.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I was Oleg, and this was In Taiwan We Speak.